And welcome to the We Like Sportz show. I'm your host, Ed in Columbus, with my co-host, CJ in Cleveland. CJ in Cleveland, it's been a while, my dog. What is going on?
It's been too long. You entered the portal, came back out on the other side.
So you entered the portal. So question, did you have more interest in Kyle McCord?
I definitely have more interest in Kyle McCord. I mean, it's not even close. Kyle McCord.
I definitely believe that.
He's going to go play for Nebraska and win 5 games.
Fair enough. But yeah, welcome back, CJ in Cleveland. I love it. You know what? I love myself. I always say that I love me some me. And so you know what I want to start with? Why not just start with a little?
Yeah,
this is Ed in Columbus with your We Like Sportz breaking news. The big splash at baseball's winter meetings was the signing of catcher Austin Hedges by the Cleveland Guardians. His deal was worth $4 million a year. In other news, some Japanese guy got close to $2 million a year, but I don't even know if it's worth talking about. Also, the LA Lakers won the first inaugural in-season tournament, and LeBron James said that they can't take that away. No, they can't. But if they could take Space Jam 2 away, that'd be great. And finally, the Cleveland Browns may have found their franchise QB in Joe Flacco. And before you go on and say, isn't Flacco old? Well, in Tom Brady terms, he still has 6 years left. So who says Cleveland's happy ending can't be orchestrated by someone other than Watson? Maybe Flacco will be the one massaging the years of misery away. And this is Ed in Columbus with your We Like Sportz breaking news.
That was good. Massaging the years away. Yeah, no, and I thought Watson would help bring us a happy ending. He sure knows a couple things about him.
Well, he got us one in Baltimore, and then unfortunately, it's so Cleveland. Go 14-14, win a division game, and then you're done. Then you're just out for the season.
It's just a beautiful thing. It's good to have Hedges back, though.
It is Hedges, yes. Yeah, we'll talk about Austin Hedges. So what do you think, before we go into Ohtani, because obviously we're going to talk about Shohei Ohtani and the contract and everything. But, I got my Guardians hat on. You're obviously in Cleveland. We're Guardians fans. Austin Hedges, $4 million a year. Were we negotiating against ourselves? Or
That's what it feels like. It's hilarious. I mean, I know we joke about the $2 million for Ohtani, but to pay a backup catcher $4 million is hilarious. But they like Hedges. Hedges is likable. He's freaking hilarious, just shirtless. I mean, it's good to have a vet. I said that was the one thing I would have liked to see. Last year, I really wanted Santana to be brought back. So you need a grown up, right? He's a grown up. There's times where Bo's still young. Bo's going to be the guy. He had a great September. So you're interested to see. Hedges is just he's there to be an adult.
Yeah. Well, plus too, like you said, I think with the pitching staff of Tanner Bybee and Gavin Williams and Logan Allen, you got 3 young studs at the same time. They're probably going to face some adversities in their sophomore season, just like anything. And it's good to have that veteran, like you said, adult back there. You brought in Stephen Vogt as your manager, former catcher as well. So they definitely got some experience, and they always say the best managers / coaches are catchers, because they call the game, they see everything.
It was funny. It was one of those things where after they made the move, I was like, he's gonna take Stephen Vogt's job in 3 years. He's just I just feel like they're just grooming Hedges to be the manager. It's just you see them sometimes spend money and bring guys back. Usually, you're looking for a discount, you're looking to be a little cheap. $4 million for Austin Hedges is but
World Series champion.
World Series champion. Some stuff some stuff goes, obviously he's gonna go hit 160, but some stuff goes, you're paying for almost like a second bench coach with him.
Yeah. But okay, well, obviously that's as much Austin Hedges talk get out. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off here and talk about one Shohei Ohtani, 10 years, $700 million. But as we found out yesterday, not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. Only $2 million a year, basically, for the 10 years, and then the $68 million at years 11.
$680 million.
Yes, 97%.
I think it's a weird deal. When I heard 10 years, $700 million, initial thought was there's just no way. And I don't want to take shots at him from he can't do this. Obviously he's a 2-time MVP, but the guy's never pitched more than 30 games. He's coming off Tommy John for the second year, or for the second time. He's not going to pitch. He's not a plus defender. You're paying. My brother tried to make the point of, well, if you give him $500 million, right? He's a $200 million dollar hitter. He's a $250 million pitcher. But I was like, but is he those things? I just, you don't know. And his body's kind of breaking down a little bit, some nagging injuries. And as you go, the back half of those deals never work out.
Never.
And
never
$2
do.
million.
Two holes.
It's one of those things where like $2 million feels like a bargain that you're getting. But okay, he's going to be on your books for years after that. You're paying the guy $680 million. He's not even going to be there.
Right.
And I heard a guy make a point. He was talking about the Yankees when they went from Matsui to Tanaka. That he's like, they're going to make so much of that back and just other revenue. But like, still, you gotta pay this guy $600. He's not going to be on the team.
Right.
I just think it's such a weird deal. The value for $2 million for Shohei Ohtani, but like the idea of paying a guy $680 million in deferred money, I don't know if that's something I would want my team to do.
Well, I think our team, I don't know if we could actually, $2
like,
million a year. They can do the $2 million a year. It's another $680 million.
Fan, the idea of like paying a guy, like, we're paying Gene Segura, $10 million to not play for us this season. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, the idea of like he took this pay cut and tried to build a money, but all that deferred money, they can only kick the can so far down the road. I feel like with this contract, I would have rather have paid $70 million. It's right. We're gonna get it over and done with, or you pay him $40 million and defer the rest of the money over. That's so much.
You're winning the lottery. You want the lump sum. You want it right away. You're not getting deferred payments. You're going to invest it yourself.
I feel like the deferred. I feel like it's better for Ohtani. Like long term, I think the Dodgers get damaged by this.
Peyton Vince. Welcome Peyton Vince to the show, everybody. Peyton Vince is the real Peyton Vince. Is here. Peyton, what are your thoughts about Ohtani and the structure of the contract? And you know what? What I'm hearing is he just wants to win World Series rings, and he thinks this is the best chance.
I think there's more to it than that. I feel like it's like some type of like weird Japanese tax thing. And, California's got the highest taxes in the country here.
Uh-oh.
We can't even hear him. He muted himself. He's muted. You're muted.
Either that or...
No, we still can't hear you. I would love for this to be a bit, but we can't hear you.
No, it's just,
And nobody can hear. I cannot hear you. Right. We still can't hear you.
Saying intelligent things, I believe.
Weird.
It looks maybe.
It's Peyton. He looks good doing it.
Yeah, it looks good doing it.
Okay.
It's in the box.
In the box.
It's out the box.
It's out the box. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Right, but that's the thing. I think like
go ahead.
It's impossible to live up to a $700 million. It's like weird because like it's like soccer money. I just don't think that like in baseball you can live up to that type of cash, right? Because that, it's $2 million a season, but it's still $70 million a season at the end of the day, right? Even that's money,
right.
And so like I look at it like I just don't. How many rings does he have to get in LA for this to be worth it?
I'd say at least 2.
You think 2? I think like.
I mean, I know really. I mean,
4.
I mean that, but at the same time, you go to 4 or 5 World Series.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like they gotta be in it.
Every year, but aren't they
already in it every year?
I know
that's what I'm saying. Like that's where it's weird with the Dodgers is like now you got to make the next step and get beyond the Phillies and the Braves and all that every year. And if you get a wild card exit, like it ain't good. That's a failure. I think it's at least World Series appearance or bust every year for that.
Right. I would definitely agree with that. Yankees now.
The Yankees. So
Yankee. We'll go to Juan Soto. What do you think about the Yankees? And they got Verdugo and they got Soto. Are they back now? The Bronx Bombers?
I think the Verdugo trade is weird. Just because like that's telling me Judge has to go to center field, and like he's over 30 now. So like that's a weird. But I love the Soto trade. I've like seen people already be like, well, he's at his best when he shoots it the other way, and you're gonna have that. Dude, if you got the short porch there and you can get it around if you're Juan Soto, like albeit go for it. The lack of shift and I know pressure makes diamonds, and that San Diego time wasn't what it is, and the end of the national time wasn't what it is. But to have Soto now in a lineup with Aaron Judge, like I know he's coming from one with Tatis and Machado, There's just something about him in pinstripes that just looks right at the end of the day. I know it like sucks to say, but sometimes you just see a guy put those pinstripes on, and it just looks right. And then the Photoshop's like once,
Yeah, it did.
it looks right.
Ah,
It never looked right in San Diego. Those are the wrong pinstripes.
I preferred him in the National League as a Guardians fan. Now he's somebody that.
Oh yeah, I do too. I still think the Yankees have other problems. I don't think
pitching. They're starting pitching to me is a little.
Pitching after like Cole and Cortez.
Yeah.
Because
they lost Severino to what the Mets. Severino went to the Mets.
Yeah. Well, I think he was. They got rid of him, right?
Yeah,
Herman. I'm thinking of Herman though.
Herman. Yeah.
Okay. I think there's other stuff, right? I think they still have to figure out like up the middle, like that infield's still kind of like weird. Is Volpe going to be their guy short? There's other things with the Yankees. I feel like Soto, it's one of the things he can put a Band-Aid on it, but he has to be healthy. Judge has to be healthy. God knows what you're getting on a Stanton. They still have that Stanton money that they owe him. So it's just one of those things. I do love the trade though. It felt like they didn't give up, like, I don't know, Yankees prospects, but, like, that shot to bring Juan Soto in to the Yankees just to get it done.
If you could hear me now, the Yankees prospects are all former Cleveland Guardians. It's the farm system. You know this, CJ.
I've not been in on prospects since, like...
No, all Guardians prospects all get traded to the Yankees, and then they pan out.
That's such a dorky thing to say.
Yeah, and Shohei Ohtani, for one, I was in my box a while back, and I finally figured it out. My audio finally worked. But anyway, Shohei Ohtani, the thing that's so frustrating is when you end up breaking down the contract, the Guardians somehow, some way, if you're not a smart baseball fan, you could sit back and go, they could have got him. And the thing is, too, is I think CJ mentioned it.
You see the Guardians for Ohtani?
He's possibly just by DH. If he doesn't pitch again and gets another Tommy John surgery, you're paying $60
Well, like at the back end of that deal, he's not going to be pitching it. Like he's going to have to pick one or the other, right?
Yeah, he's going to be paying Bobby Bonilla territory.
70 million, because and I get it, $2 million, but that money's still getting paid at the end. They're going to use it to build him around, but like you're going to have to pick one or the other, and you're still paying him at the end. I'd rather pay a guy and have him than defer out $680 million.
And also, you were talking about that California tax thing too, and I think that's why he's going to end up having this whole backloaded deal because he has multiple options. If he wanted to, at the end of this deal, he could probably go back to Japan and take whatever millions of dollars he's getting, and not have to pay California taxes. He obviously wants to pay to California.
Yeah. There was a lot to the deal. I think that the Blue Jays probably, and I don't know, it's just regular speculation. I think the Blue Jays probably came in around like 500-600, and like the Dodgers just like gave them like a blank check and just, well, what's it going to take? And they work it out. And obviously, when you're dealing with $700 million in agents, there's a lot of people smarter than us. So I definitely, that's why I just think that.
Well, that's why we got Keith Allen here, voice of Locked On Sports 216, and been riding with me the past couple months here on the We Like Sportz show. Keith, what are your takes on the Shohei Ohtani large sums of money, but not right away? Not right away.
Well, if the Guardians could have signed him if he was going to do all that. Don't you think?
You'd at least hope so at that point.
Plus, he's
still getting $700 million.
Plus, Ohtani gets like $50 million in endorsements too. From what I read, he's gonna probably get another $50 million in endorsements through the next few years anyway. So yeah,
the Angels are LA's. I know LA's LA, but like
and
there's the Dodgers and there's the Angels.
And right, like you said. The Dodgers and the Angels, he escaped from Alcatraz with the Angels.
Dodgers got their own color.
Alcatraz, Purgatory, all of it's the same at the end.
Right. Dodgers got their own color, right? There's no Angels red. It's Dodger blue.
Yeah, he escaped.
Well, from what Jeff Passan
I'll do whatever you like.
On the ESPN, that he said that, playing down the 5 in Anaheim and seeing what the Dodgers have been doing the last couple of years, he liked their the way their analytics are. He likes a lot of the stuff that the Dodgers do behind the scenes. I mean, so maybe there are just some intangibles that were just timeout. All right, Peyton, timeout.
I mean, before you finish the sentence, and this just irks me so much, but this is so much that baseball is based off of right now, and then you could continue on. You're telling me Shohei Ohtani, like the analytics of the Dodgers, like you're telling me he sat down in front of a computer, looked at all the stats and went, the way they hit against right-handed hitters and left-handed pitchers, I just hate baseball because like they have so many advanced stats now. Nobody's going to pay attention to the analytics. Like average fans aren't going to pay attention to the analytics. And when you hear that type of response, you almost scoff at it.
I don't think most fans pay attention to it. I think the ones that are like super analytical, like I think it's the nerds, and they're such a small sect of baseball fans. I do.
Only thing the fans paying attention to is that $700 million over 10 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a guy in Cleveland that did this a while ago too, but instead he's in Dodgers blue, like CJ said.
Because I'm like, if that's the going rate now, the Guardians ain't gonna never contend again.
Nope.
Well, Ohtani's a special case. The Guardians never really bring in big name guys. Like, I know we led with
Edwin Encarnacion came here. You stop that.
My parrot.
Because honestly, think about it. Ohtani probably is not going to pitch maybe about 2 years at the most in this contract. Because he's not pitching next year.
I think you're talking 10 years. He's not pitching next year, so it takes you down to 9. He probably won't pitch in the last 4 or 5. So he's probably looking at 5 or 6 years where he's not pitching in that contract.
My buddy from work, we all end up talking about our work buddies. We've already gone through it. I have Brandon at work. We were talking about it, though, with Shohei Ohtani. He goes, with this 10-year deal, with it being backloaded, if he's going to just be a DH like we're all expecting at some point, he could end up going after this contract expires another 3 years, say $30 million, $40 million on top of $60 million. He'd have one contract or 2 contracts for $100 million in 1 year. Like I would love to have that money at the end of the day. And he's having, let's say the Blue Jays in 10 years from now, pay him $40 million. And then the Dodgers are still paying him $60 million.
Well, he's still going to be about, he's going to be 39 at the end of the deal?
Yeah, 39.
So 39. He's got a shot to get another, 2-3 years out of it.
He might sign with the Guardians.
Well, will he do it?
Yeah, that'll be just about his time.
I will spit out my halls.
He might sign with the Guardians, then give him a discount.
Yeah. And then CM Punk's going to come back to the WWE then too.
Yeah, that'll never happen. Oh,
He's over.
Oh, but no, I mean, like I said, I think the Shohei Ohtani thing, it's interesting. It's one of those contracts that obviously I don't think we'll see many like this. He's a one-of-a-kind player. But I will say one thing. For him to defer that type of money, because the time value of money, he takes that money now, it's worth more now than it is later. So, I mean, he is taking a discount. That $700 million is probably maybe worth $550, $580 million if you actually look at it now and with the way economics are and just the world. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It's not like we've had, great economic success, this past 10 years, I'd say. Everything's on a 10, 12-year cycle. And I don't know. We'll see how the world shapes out. And Ohtani taking a big risk, obviously, doing it. But I don't think he's taking
the Dodgers, I think, are taking a big risk.
Well, CJ, you are worried about the Dodgers for some reason.
I think from like a fan perspective. Like if I was a Dodger, I just, there's something about getting them, and you're excited to have them. But like the idea of paying a guy that much money that's not going to play, it's like the Deshaun Watson thing right now. Like, does it feel like we have Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, it does.
It feels like we have him.
We're paying him. We pay him.
I know, but that's the thing, right?
Playing Joe Flacco too.
It would be nice to have $230 million more right now. So, like, this idea of paying a guy, $680 million, and he's not going to be here. He's going to be, long gone. And at that point, like, you're really paying for what a guy did.
Ask the 8-year-old boy that's in LA right now. That's probably going to go to in the next 5 years, go to 4 World Series.
Yeah, but I'm not the 8-year-old boy.
As a fan, you just want to win. And maybe as Guardians fans, because we've had such penny pinchers for
Well,
owners.
everybody asked me about the Guardians, right? They're like, "What move should they do? What move? You know, they got to make a move. They got to make a move." It's always, well, like, what move do you want them to make? Like, especially like right now.
Middle
Hey.
infield. It's always something.
What do you want? We
unusual
got
with.
a million middle infield.
Well,
Hey.
if they trade
Shortstop,
Shane
or
Bieber,
second
like the
baseman,
rumors
swap
going
out.
around, I'm sure they'll get
Keith.
another middle infielder.
Hey, the Empire's still gonna beat the Dodgers.
No, here we go with the Yankees. Here we go. He's got Juan Soto. He's got Verdugo.
I feel like it's, you know, in baseball. I will say this. Right?
Check out. Think
It's one
about
of those
this.
things where, like, it's weird. I was like, I'm so happy he signed with the Dodgers and not the Blue Jays, because, like, I don't want to see the Blue Jays. Like,
Right.
nothing interesting about the Blue Jays.
Neither does
Dodgers,
Keith.
you know.
Check out.
You know,
That's what that's what this guy told me at work. He was like, first he had told me that he was supposed to sign with Toronto. He was like, well, I'm glad because y'all got to see him 20 times a year. I was like, But fortunately we don't.
Yeah.
And we'll beat the Dodgers in the playoffs. Well, the Dodgers will get upset anyway in the playoffs anyway.
Yeah,
So.
Dodgers
Keith,
are
I have
losing.
to take my shot because you've ended up taking so many shots, either if I'm here or I'm not here, about the Steelers. Are you so excited for this upcoming year to see an early exit in an 80 and a 100 loss team again like this past year? Because, I mean, things were rocky, and it can always be that way with Soto again. He's a young guy, but the
I don't
Yankees
know,
after
Keith,
last year, give them everybody. It's a
He
little
just
bit.
looks right in pinstripes, Keith.
Judge is going to get him right.
Oh,
Judge is
geez.
going to get him right.
Can't we all just get along?
I'm
Obviously.
trying.
And plus,
I stand by it. Like I
but
said,
what's
I just
being
think Soto,
but what's being quiet though with the far as the Yankees getting Soto is that they got Verdugo as well too, and they needed a
I'm
leadoff
for you,
hitter.
Keith. I'm rooting for you, Keith. I just said it right. I said it earlier. I was like, he never looked right in Padres. You put him in that Yankees Photoshop, and it just looks right. Like him and that Yankees.
Just
No
beautiful.
beard already. He's clean cut. Like,
Yes.
some people they look like Yankees.
If the Yankees win the World Series next year, I'll shave off my beard, my mustache, and everything.
On the show.
Yeah, I'll do it on the show.
On the show.
I'll do it on the show.
On the show. We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
So they're going to be out of contention by the time, what, the first week of
That's the
October?
safest.
You're going to be sitting with the Guardians then.
Hey,
Please, we're gonna win the division by 10 games. This division stinks.
But you know what,
We're gonna
though?
win this
Shout out
division
for
by
the
10
Guardians.
games.
Shout out to the Guardians, though. They did acquire a pitcher today, and they did sign Austin Hedges back.
Yes.
We got a
That's
sub.
my sports. Thank you for the sub.
Yes.
I don't think the Dodgers need to do much. You know, what do they need to do? They're gonna go win 100 and something games. They're gonna get bounced.
Yeah, that's what I said.
By a
Yeah.
wild card team, it's gonna be great. It's
Yeah,
fun to root
Philadelphia bounced them
for.
out
It
of
gives
somebody.
it makes playoffs interesting. You know,
Yeah.
not gonna lie, didn't watch it. I didn't watch a Rangers. You know, much of the there was. I remember there was a day Rangers were playing the Diamondbacks. Instead, I was watching Akron play Kent State or somebody. I was watching them action.
So
Just, that had me. Give
so
me somebody
you
to root
know,
against.
if the Dodgers don't make the World Series next year,
Robert gets fired.
everybody is going to be. Yeah, Roberts possibly could be in danger, but I don't think the Dodgers going to fire him. But they're going to look at the Dodgers front office, and they're going to look at Roberts too. They're going to be like, "Well, how? What's going on?"
2020 doesn't count. 2020 that doesn't
Hey,
count.
all I gotta say about that Akron Kent series, and I love the banter between the two schools, but they got the same joke because I've heard it two different iterations. So if you're a Kent State fan telling Akron fan or an Akron fan telling Kent State fan, the joke is, how do you get so and so off your porch? You know, in this, you know, whether it be Kent State or Akron, how do you get an Akron alum off your porch, a Kent State alum off your porch? It's the same joke, but the answer is you pay the man for the pizza.
You know what's funny about the Akron and Kent rivalry? I remember the year when when Nate Lewis was coaching Kent, and their offense was like damn near another show on turf in the MAC. And I was listening to a radio show. Oh, he's staying.
Okay, I figured that's a Keith question. That's a Keith question.
Staying. He's definitely staying.
Yeah.
Once he get in New York, he ain't leaving out.
Soto to the Dodgers, hey man, pay him. Soto to the Dodgers, Keith.
Huh?
Maybe in 10 years.
Soto to the Dodgers.
Yeah, in 10 years. Like Like Vince said, 10 years.
Yeah.
They got to pay off Shohei to end up getting the next young phenom first.
Yeah, that's really.
Yeah, just say they're in on Yamamoto.
You know, honestly, like, could we end up just kind of like taking a back seat though, really quick? The best thing is about the Ohtani thing for the small market teams, everybody here, excluding Keith. But like the Guardians will never be able to make a contract like that whatsoever.
No.
Front load, back load, whatever. It's impossible. Small market teams suffered. That's what sucks.
Yeah.
But you're seeing Shohei Ohtani. This is our generation's Babe Ruth. And Babe Ruth arguably wasn't even this good. He was a pitcher, but he wasn't a pitcher for long. And Shohei's probably going to end up on the same path like we've said. But the thing is, man, I made Keith mad.
Yeah,
but,
you got them all huffy and puffy.
But
Soto
at
to
the
the
end of the
Dodgers,
day,
that's what did him.
he's better than Babe Ruth because he's on both sides of the ball right now. Maybe that comparison, not so much in the future. Time will tell. But for baseball as a whole, you look forward to it if you're a baseball fan. It just sucks that the rich got richer.
You know what?
I disagree with that, though. I just feel like that's baseball. Like, at this point, like, that's baseball, right? A guy hits the market, the Dodger, it's not Guardians, A's, Rays, Royals, Twins. Like, it's just baseball. That's the NBA, too. Our guys taking max level contracts to go sign with the Jazz. They sign a max deals to go play for the Hawks. Like, it's baseball and that's sports.
Well, CJ, whether you're signing a max deal, you're big market, small market, here's something we can all agree on. It's Dubby time. If you want an energy drink that you can mix at home that doesn't give you the jitters or make you crash, if so, then try Dubby. Their flavors have no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin. I don't know what that is, CJ. They don't have it. That's a good thing. No fillers and no artificial colors. Dubby has great flavors such as Dragonade, Galaxy Grenade, Beach and Peach, and Dub Sludge. So head on over to w.gg and use the coupon code We Like Sportz to get 10% off your order. So you want to do that. And also check this out, the Snooze You Lose podcast with Uncle Joe the Black Bookie. He'll get you set with his Sunday Snooze You Lose pick of the week. So you'll definitely want to check that out. And also head on over to Tight Nutrition for good protein products. Tight Nutrition / We Like Sportz. And also got to plug ourselves because we're great. I know we're great because we're great. CJ in Cleveland knows he's great. That's why he's on today.
Ed in Columbus, Peyton in Pittsburgh.
There you go. But head on over to our website at WeLikeSportsPC.com. Great articles. Sean puts up one every 5 minutes, I think. So you want to check that out. And also to our X page at We Like Sportz PC. So you want to do that as well. So shout out to ourselves. We're over 3,000 followers now. So we're heading big places.
And
we'll place up.
Also, another thing, too, that I wanted to propose to you guys is... So this past weekend, Browns versus Jaguars, I had a parlay in, same game parlay. Flacco, I think 250 plus yards, nailed that. Trevor Lawrence, 175 plus yards. I was kind of questioning the fact that he'd finish the game. He did end up getting it over. Elijah Moore, I think it was like 40.5 yards. That hit though. Ridley, I said 60 plus yards. It was 50. It was just under. But sports betting is becoming fun again. I mean, the Browns at this point, if you're looking to take bets with Joe Flacco at this point, it's almost looking consistently like he's 300 plus a game at this point. But
money.
I wanted to propose a betting challenge for you guys. And also, are We Like Sportz viewers at home that we're going to end up setting up a betting challenge. We're going to end up checking out all of these websites. We got MGM. We got DraftKings. We got FanDuel. We got MyBookie.
365.
You got 365. Exactly. We're going to end up checking out all these sites. We're going to end up signing up for all of them. And by the time come the show next week, whether it's Monday or Tuesday, depending on how Ed's schedule's going, to be determined, we'll find out.
Don't have kids, guys. Don't have kids.
No, have kids. It's fine.
No, don't.
You're allowed to. It's life. But next week, we're going to end up issuing to you guys and telling you what the best site would be according to the We Like Sportz show. So stay tuned in.
Fun fact, it's not going to be ESPN bet. It won't. It won't.
There's probably, I'd say,
I'm excited to use the other ones, but it's not ESPN bet. It's
negative 100 odds that we won't be using ESPN, I bet.
It is not ESPN. It's straight trash. I love live lines. They're not good at it.
Also, And I know
Also,
Casey's not here right now.
He's not.
Casey's going to have to end up being – he's going to end up having to be a part of this challenge as well because, he's doing as best as he can whenever he is in Ohio. I don't know if he's coming up for Christmas or not yet. I haven't talked to him in a while. But we do have to end up mentioning to him and our We Like Sports Show viewers what maybe his parlay might be because last time we saw him, he was saying he was like Uncle Joe the Black Bookie and Snooze You Lose Pick of the Week. He was almost just as successful as him.
He was,
but
yes.
Time will tell now. So we'll look forward to next week and we'll see what site we end up using.
I love challenges, Peyton Vince. I love challenges.
I love gambling. 1-800 responsible gambling because you have an addiction, right? Set limits.
CJ, say that louder one more time for me.
1-800, be a responsible gambler. Set daily limits. It's tough though. It's tough.
That's
Only
why we
gamble
bring him
what
on.
you can afford to lose.
Yeah, not the
Can't
whole
afford
house.
to play, don't. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I the challenge accepted, and we will be back next week to talk about that and what the best site is for our I wouldn't say degenerative behaviors, but because we're responsible and you should be too. So
it's
we're
generative.
responsible
It's
gambling.
generative because I only win. We only win.
that's right. CJ in Cleveland only wins. But guess what, guys? We're going to move on here. We did a hot stove action, and I'd be remiss if I like to name these things hot stove blazing and NFL amazing. And so we'll go around the NFL right now, and we won't do our traditional thing because the games are over with and everything. But I want to talk about the NFL. Why is it amazing? Because we got all these backup quarterbacks in different places, and they're getting the job done. We got Joe Flacco in Cleveland, Browning down in Cincinnati. It's definitely the landscape.
Got my guy.
Changed. And CJ, since you want to talk, you want to move your hands.
No,
around.
DeVito, baby.
DeVito in New York.
Where's Drew at when you need him?
Agent. Oh my goodness, I love it. Italians are hilarious. They were passing out chicken parm in the parking lot before the game. The whole family.
So you
greatest
got
guy in the
Bills
world.
Mafia jumping through tables. You got the Giants Mafia or the Giants Jamboree.
I don't know. Tweet that just summed up how funny you got teams trying to make everybody a star, and here's this guy, and it's just he's Italian, and everyone's we love him. He's just a stereotype. He's showing up, pink fucking jacket, hat, agent looks hilarious. Wearing some bizarro Jerry Maguire. I can't wait for the Netflix special on this guy in a few years. It's gonna be it's amazing.
And he's a local kid too.
Yeah. Lives with his parents. His dad looks like freaking an extra on The Sopranos. It's just,
oh man,
it's the story I needed in my life. Right, I love having Joe Flacco, but part of me wishes I had some time.
Is this the story? Is it the biggest story this year in the NFL? Would you have to say is the year of the backup quarterback so far?
Oh yeah, I think backups have never been more. I don't know if I've ever seen a season like this. I know you guys have seen more than me, but this is you're looking through the list. Herbert just went on IR. He's done for the season.
The big money fraternity.
Yeah.
It's who's gonna make it at the end. Every day it feels. Every week I definitely feel like the Browns got a new guy on IR. They just placed 2 more on IR today with DeJuan and
Jedrick Wills.
Jedrick Wills, yeah.
Jake Browning, who though?
Right.
Dog at Washington, college football playoff partner. Got smoked by Bama.
Honestly though,
that's why we bring CJ on here for
they did.
That,
college football.
Dog.
That's the whole purpose for his 7th round mock draft coming up next year.
Jake was a dog at Washington.
Yeah, he
smoked
was.
By Bama, though, in that Sugar Bowl, I think it was. College football playoff game. That's it.
Also, before we end up going into around the NFL, really quick, I want to hit on this.
Yep.
AFC East. I saw this on Twitter or X, whatever Ed ends up calling it, but I think I might have sent it to you. The upcoming future of the AFC East. You have Anthony Richardson with the Colts when he's healthy. You have Stroud with the Texans, and you have Will Levis.
You call it the East.
See, my bad. The East is Dolphins, Miami. See, this is what happens when you aren't a responsible gambler and you end up guessing what
you just woke up about a half hour before
check your notes.
But I think the thing too about the backups, I just thought is they're just coming in all shapes and sizes. You got old ass Joe Flacco, you got DeVito who's undrafted, you got Browning who he went low but he's got some college. But Tommy DeVito, he wasn't good enough to start at Syracuse, goes to Illinois, does nothing really there. Browning put up numbers. You got some dude named Easton Stick taking over for the Chargers. They just come in all shapes and sizes. It's
Gardner Minshew's back.
Gardner Minshew. He's He's our new Josh McCown, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Right, yes.
Like, it's a fun. The league is fun. I'll say that, right? For us, like dog, and there's no such thing as bad football, and it's just he gets a shot at it with some of these backups.
Is Dak Prescott the MVP right now?
I said it the last time I was on. I wanted to go back and find it. I swear to God. I remember we talked Cowboys, and I was like, if Dak can take care of the ball with that defense and those weapons and not throw interceptions, he's going to win MVP, and they're going to win the Super Bowl. I remember I said that. Now this was before the dawn of Joe Flacco and Brown and Orange. But there's just. I know Purdy's getting some steam, but Purdy's got all those weapons around him. Being Mr. Relevant, I think, is going to get shit on him forever. I think Dak could be a guy that I wonder I might place a future on Dak to win MVP.
Could be part of
I like that idea.
I might place a future on Dak to win MVP.
But honestly, though, with the MVP race, you got Dak. You could end up including CJ Stroud if you look at his numbers.
No, he's hurt. He's done.
The CJ Stroud, either way, 2 weeks ago, that was not somebody you'd think at the start of the season would be in the conversation.
He's in the conversation.
No, his numbers have been. I feel
Sam
like
Howell too.
I feel like
even though he's on a terrible team,
there's three guys that should be in the conversation. And I feel like it's Dak, Purdy, and McCaffrey. Why McCaffrey's not in the conversation more is beyond me. I think you take McCaffrey off especially when you talk valuable. You take McCaffrey off San Francisco, they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could
take Debo off and they don't win. It's just that team is just.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like there's other guys that are I'm not taking shots at Purdy. I think Purdy's really good, but I feel like if you take those guys off, like McCaffrey is, I feel like the number one guy on that team. He is just freaking insane.
I think we're going to find out that Kenny Pickett's really the MVP because look with the Steelers, they can't even.
Pickett freaking stinks. He stinks. I saw something that said Charlie Batch has almost thrown more touchdowns than him.
The sad thing about that, CJ, is he stinks. But then you look at Trubisky, you look at Mason Rudolph, horrible.
They all stink. But they had some bad quarterback room, right? Jeez. I'm not gonna be mad that the Steelers quarterbacks stink.
Okay, I'm not either. I'm not.
Mixed 4th and 2, throwing it over the mountains.
So right now around the NFL, the landscape of the NFL. So who is your favorite right now to win it all? Like who do you think the most dominant team right now?
I think
the Cowboys, 49ers.
I think San Francisco. I feel like if I was to put it if we were a college the committee, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the 4 best teams and the Eagles have been even kind of weird lately, getting dump trucked like that on Sunday Night Football. But I feel like there's 3 teams that are in it, and I feel like the 3 best teams are. And it's weird to say because the Browns beat them. Didn't the Browns beat the Ravens?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's Ravens, Niners, and Eagles, or not Eagles, Cowboys. I just feel like those are the 3 best teams, and it's weird to say because everybody in the AFC just seems hyper flawed. There's no one in the AFC really stands out. You got the Browns that keep finding ways to win, but I can't talk myself into a Joe Flacco. I can talk myself into it. I'll do it every day.
Only on Sundays at 1:00 does he talk.
Right.
The Chiefs are weird. The Bills are there's just nobody in the AFC that I feel stands out, and it feels like Baltimore's just the least beat up.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah. There's still time, and that's because there's still weeks to go. But that's
Lamar
just what it feels
quarterback.
That's just what it feels like. Yeah, Lamar's always one awkward turn away from getting hurt.
You mentioned Chiefs, CJ. Got to mention it. Got to mention the Kadarius Toney offsides penalties. What do you guys think about that? It was Mahomes being a crybaby and a baby after.
He was definitely being a crybaby after, right?
Being charging after a ref.
But he was freaking
But I think it's more to that with Mahomes. I think it's frustration overall because you got to really look at it. Them receivers
they blow.
They stink. They can't run the ball.
There's so many adjectives, but that one's probably the most appropriate.
Thank you.
Yeah. Them receivers is horrible because the only one I would probably keep out of them is Rice, and then you got Pacheco out, and now teams are look, only way you're gonna beat us is we taking Kelsey away. Yeah. So. Good luck with the rest.
They look like they're catching the ball, but they're trying to move before they even catch it. They're not securing it. They're just they're already running up field, and they don't even have a ball. And I mean, I think I texted Ed during some of that Chiefs game too. For one, the amount of times that in that first half alone that wide receivers dropped a ball, that's why Patrick Mahomes is throwing a fit in the post game, is because everybody's dropping shit.
Right.
And on top of it, you end up having Travis Kelce, the joke of the day. This is my break Ed news.
Yeah, I love it too. Go ahead. I love it.
Was that lateral play that Travis Kelce caught that was eventually a touchdown that got called back? According to all the Swifties, Travis Kelce threw a touchdown.
Oh, I was one of them. I was like, touchdown, Travis. Oh, never mind.
I think that play's awesome.
Talking about Travis Swift.
I was shocked to see that work. I did not know
It
what was
worked.
going
The
on.
Chargers did one kind of like that on when Allen threw to Eckler. I just think it's sweet. It's
CJ,
so
what's
fun.
your favorite Taylor Swift song?
God, it's like asking my mom to pick her favorite child. Something about blank space that's just right.
Okay.
Something about
Blank space.
That's just right. Yeah.
Gold.
I
I think the
all.
thing with Mahomes, I just kind of looked at it because I feel like his numbers definitely feel. You're talking about a guy that since Halloween has been under 200 more than he's been over. He hasn't gone over 300 since October 22nd. Right, and that's just weird to say about Mahomes.
Thank you. My point
Right,
exactly. I've been telling Ed this for the longest. A lot of these quarterback stats go just right along with Deshaun Watson stats.
Yeah, I feel like we're living in a weird age where, like, guys are going 23 or 29 and they're throwing for like 210. Like, it's just it's all RPOs and checkdowns, and it's just
Here's a new one for you. Tommy Cutlets.
That's my sport. That's my guy.
CJ has this the jersey coming in for Christmas. If Ed was a betting man, he'd be buying CJ a jersey.
I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to.
I've been all in on DeVito just because, like, a dude that looks that funny. Like, the first time they showed a picture of his dad, I was like, this guy's my new favorite, like, not Cleveland Brown.
Danny or Tommy?
His dad. I don't know what the hell his dad's name
No,
is.
DeVito.
Oh, DeVito, yeah. Tommy. Oh, I love Danny, too. I hope they're related somehow.
Well, Danny's a Philadelphia Eagles if it's always sunny in Philadelphia. So he's more of an Eagles.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I think the AFC's weird. Like, the Dolphins are good, but, like, they choked last night. And
they can't beat good
anybody
teams.
good. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the Chiefs beat the Dolphins, but the Dolphins don't beat anybody good. And they just lost to the Bills, and the Bills kind of stink.
The Dolphins are very similar to what the Eagles are doing, it seems.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Like,
they rough up the teams they're supposed to beat, but then when it comes down to the real teams, we'll see how good the Dolphins. Well, actually, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not completely sold on the Cowboys yet either, but we will see how good the Cowboys are this Sunday. This Sunday in Buffalo. We will see how good they are this Sunday in Buffalo.
That was a hug from CJ to Dak right there.
I'm looking around a little bit.
Even though they're 10-3, and right now, like I said, they'll probably be ranked third in my countdown.
Yeah, but it comes out Wednesday.
It comes out Wednesday. But
allegedly.
but like I said, in Miami got to play Buffalo one more time too.
Don't they play Dallas? Do they play Dallas, Keith?
Who, Miami?
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be good.
So we're really going to see how good Miami is.
I think it's a weird time. Looking at the standings, like the NFC, everybody in the NFC South stinks.
Yeah.
Casey
going to wear that big Tampa Bay jersey.
NFC North, that's not the Lions, and even the Lions, like, you got questions about now. Like, Minnesota's got Nick Mullins out there. Like, the Rams. And
the Lions are begging Minnesota to come back.
Yeah. Like, I just, the AFC is a mystery. I feel like the NFC's top heavy, but that bottom is just straight. Ugh. It stinks.
It is. I want to before I go, because I have to jump out of here early here tonight, and I apologize to all my fans out there. I get that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. But I wanted to go into the in-season tournament and I'll leave you guys with that. But my take on the in-season tournament for the NBA was the LA Lakers obviously won, and people are saying that it's LeBron hate, that they're getting hated on, basically. My thing is this: it's not a ring in June. It's a fun thing, I guess. I'm not the biggest in-season tournament fan, because I thought it was weird the way it was set up. I mean, some games were in tournament games and some weren't. You didn't know unless you really paid attention. I think to Peyton's point, and I think Keith and we talked about it as well, it should have been more like a one and done, more like a NCAA kind of feel to it, instead of doing this round robin and then doing cumulative points. I thought that kind of got weird. So I will leave you guys with the NBA in-season tournament, and I will miss you guys, and I will see you guys either next Monday or Tuesday. I'll let you know. But to all the We Like Sports people out there, have a great night.
Ed, quick question.
Yes.
Is LeBron better than Michael Jordan because LeBron James did something Michael Jordan could never do and win the in-season tournament?
I knew it.
He could never do it, though.
Like my Break-It News said, ask yourself, Peyton Vince, you have to watch one movie. Is it Space Jam the original or Space Jam 2?
Ooh, it's definitely not the same Space Jam.
It's definitely thank you, CJ.
And
I will leave you guys with that. Have a great show. I'll catch up with you guys later. Peace.
Take care, Ed.
I can't do the Ed. I did the wrong end.
You look like you have a problem with what you got going on.
I can't do it. There it is. I can't do it.
There you go.
I think the in-season tournament, I mean, it's so fucking weird.
It is.
Yeah, I mean,
it just made no sense. Like, they played their divisional opponents, kind of. Like, it is so. I would have rather have seen it be like a random draw. Like, if we're just gonna put Adam Silver on ESPN for half an hour, and he's gonna draw ping pong balls, and that's how they're gonna set it up originally. Then you move like I don't know. I just feel like it needed kind of a gimmick to it, and then doing it so early in the season, I think, took a lot of weight, because like there were games where like Mitchell was out early. It just guys, it just it never really. It just felt so weird and rushed, and like
I think that's why they did that though, that way, that you could have that. Like, I think this all in all, I think the whole purpose of the in-season tournament was because of load management. Because if you don't end up having a guy that is healthy sitting on your bench, instead you end up having him play because there's something on the line.
Yeah, but I just don't think
the in-season tournament.
And
also the color combination on the courts. The
courts were stupid. That was that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I remember watching when we played the Pacers of Philly, and I was like, I can't watch this.
It was kind of like when you used to go bowling, and they had cosmic bowling and stuff. And
yep,
it was just like
it's perfect. It's like bowling too, though. Like, I don't want to go bowling. I don't need an in-season tournament.
Hey, like you see on the bowling comment.
I feel like there was something different they could have did. It just felt like such a weird
that should probably be December to mid-January instead of late November into December.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It never did anything for me.
Yeah.
It's something
I
saw somebody had a good idea. What would have made it must watch? I can't remember who said it, but they said like all those in-season tournament games should have been played on the same day. And like one of the hoops, you don't know which hoop, is like a breakaway glass, and just at some point, like someone's gonna just fucking cram a dunk and break the hoop. Like I just like I would have liked to have seen, like, if you're gonna do, like, I don't know, like add some goofy, like a 4-point line. I don't know. Like it did nothing for me. If you're gonna be goofy with it, just go full goofy with those goofy courts. Like, if you're willing to put those courts out there, like give me like a 4-point line or some like 3-on-3 with it. I don't know. It did nothing for me. I thought it was just so dumb. They did like a full-on celebration too, with like champagne and everything.
Yeah, that was a little excessive. That was, again, the reference to Ed. I feel like that's exactly what the NBA expects to have all in this debate, is that, well, LeBron won the in-season MVP. He's an in-season champion. He has one more ring, air quotes, which is the in-season tournament, and it's not even a ring. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And did you guys end up seeing it all? I think it was the semifinal game with the Lakers, or else it was the finals. They made the Lakers change their uniforms because it blended in with the court.
Yeah. I just
don't use the courts.
Right.
The whole thing was just, I don't know. It was ugly. It was goofy.
It looked like the NFL color rush
silly.
they tried using in the
I'm
NBA
glad.
version and making a baby together with it and using a combination. And they're like,
It
well,
was like,
everybody
the
loves
first
multiple
blend of
colors.
NBA.
I'm just
Like,
glad I
everybody
ain't got to see those land uniforms again.
Yeah, I'm glad it's over.
I
Seemed
guess
like they never really bought into it.
while we're on the topic of the land, we haven't ended up all sitting down yet in a while, and I kind of want to hit on this just briefly. With the Cavs, we're midway through December, in-season tournament came and gone. They didn't even go that far. What are your thoughts on the Cavs this year? Like, Donovan Mitchell, I don't even know if I want him here long-term. If he's not interested, I don't want him here. You end up having Max Strus. He's pretty tough. You have...
He's freaky. I mean, I don't know. Keith, you want to go ahead? You can go first.
With the Cavs, something's not right with that team. I
think last
put my
week you guys were
finger
talking
on it.
about head coaching, right?
Yeah,
I think JB is part of the problem, right? And like one of the things, I go back to the Pistons game. They played the Pistons and almost lost to the Pistons. The roster's poorly constructed. I think that there's no like wing at all that like can be like a wing forward. Niang is awful. I do not like George Niang. I think he stinks. Max Strus is Seti Osman if he was 3 inches shorter. The dude can hit some shots, but he's also going to brick some shots. Like, it is what it is. Like, you don't have a starting small forward. You're too small. You got some trees behind you. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are soft. Just calling it how like they're soft.
Well, they've been soft
waiting
once
for Evan
Donovan
Mobley.
Mitchell started running things. With Darius Garland, those guys changed completely.
Yeah, but like we keep waiting for Evan Mobley to make this leap that I just don't think is going to happen. Like it's year 3 of them, right? And I just, we're thinking it's not going to happen alongside Jared Allen. It's not going to happen alongside somebody's got to get moved. It's a very poorly constructed roster. You have Imani Bates down there just getting buckets in the G League, but don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's ready and he's like a guy that's going to solve all our problems. But
why is he hanging out in the G League when there's so many guys
to get some minutes
that could be?
But like that's what I think. Yes. I think he could be more helpful than George Niang. Like I think that guy stinks. Craig Porter Jr. Awesome, fine.
Yeah,
awesome, fine. Right.
To take your
Sam
point,
Merrill
even
can get some buckets, but it just I think JB is more the problem than Altman, and I think that we're going to see Altman outlast JB here. If we were like a 7 seed, JB is going to get fired at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And especially to take your point even further, though, about Evan Mobley, it's not really, and it's a terrible example because it's not like he was part of the G League because he just got straight into the pros. But the G League teams, you're seeing that they're able to produce some players like Imani Bates, like Craig Porter Jr. Why is it that Evan Mobley, even in Summer League, if that is what he was ended up like just his time to learn, why can't he transition and become the player that everybody expects him to be?
I just think there's only one
ball.
And I just, I don't think like the dude averages like 16 and 8. I'm not trying to like shit on 16 and 8, but like when are we gonna take that like next leap? And it just feels like he's not gonna.
And I don't really think he's that guy offensively. For real. I really don't. I think everybody's trying to lump him into a Giannis type or a stretch 4, and he's not.
He can't shoot.
4. No, he can't shoot. He's more like a Tim Duncan, Bill Russell
Chris
type
Bosh.
guy, for real.
Yeah,
Chris Bosh
he's not even a Bosh. Yeah,
that's what they want him to be,
early,
though. And he's
like,
not.
Figured out threes.
He's not
a good jump shooter.
And I think what needs to be done is eventually you're going to have to start Mobley at the 5, find you a power forward that can be a stretch 4, and bring along Imani Bates, and your team will probably be more conventional. Because the problem with the Cavs is you got 2 small guards that can't guard none of us 3.
Nope.
So you're already putting pressure on Allen and you got 3 actually, because Strus can't guard nobody either. So you're putting pressure on Allen and Mobley. And you see they getting in foul trouble. Like what now?
No.
Last 2 or 3 games,
No,
they all been in foul
it's
trouble.
one of those things where like you watch them, the offense is clunky. There's no flow at times. It's like, all right, somebody go make a play, they're gonna drive and kick, and our guys, Evan Mobley's not a guy that go guard the 3-point line, like and Keith said it perfect, right? We had all these expectations because a really good rookie year, second in voting for rookie of the year, and like we kept thinking, all right, he's gonna be a KD type guy. He's a skinny guy. He'll develop the shot. He's gonna be. And it's just there's nothing wrong with 16-8, but like the way it's looking, it's just that's what he's going to be. It's kind of like DeAndre Ayton was,
right? And especially
everybody kept thinking he's going to take this huge step,
right? And especially when you got 2 ball dominant guards that's looking for their shot first, that kind of retarded Mobley's development, if you ask me, for real. And I think honestly, because I don't think Donovan's going to re-sign here, truthfully.
No,
I think
he wants to be in New York.
Yeah, and I think the finished version of this team, if Imani Bates can continue to evolve, it's going to be with Imani Bates and with possibly Craig Porter too.
Mm-hmm.
And Jared Allen's probably going to be out of here too, if you think about it.
That kind of ended up bringing up my next question too. I mean, you got the trade deadline coming in February. Do you think Donovan Mitchell, if you're the Cavs, do you want him here past February? Because
you want Donovan Mitchell.
Used to be back then. That team way back when it was just Darius Garland, when Colin Sexton was out that year, that was the best Cavs team I think we've seen in a few years. Best playoff run, even though it was a playing game.
Last year's team was better.
But it was all Donovan Mitchell ball. It's just weird, like LeBron ball.
It's weird how all of a sudden they can't figure it out. I think that's the thing. And that's why I think it's more of like a JB thing. Where like there's just been no adjustment made on like, all right, this is like they just feel like that same team at times that like when you go back and like think about the Knicks series, they were just deers in headlights. And it's like almost like that same type feel where it's like, why can't this team like just figure it out? They let teams hang around and they blow leads, They shouldn't have lost to Orlando last night. They're up at the half and they lose by double digits. It's just those type of things are what's infuriating about this team. Because it still is a good team. Now, is it a finals caliber team? No, right? Max Strus is your starting small forward. Like he said, nobody can guard on this team. You got 2 guys that clear it up and hide a lot of their deficiencies. And it works on the offense end too, because there's times where like Garland and Mitchell go get buckets when the rest of the offense is just standing around. But that's just not a team that is beating Boston in 7. They're not beating Boston. They're not beating the Knicks.
Not beating Milwaukee, and they're not beating Philly.
It's frustrating, right? It's frustrating. And I go back to, I remember we talked about it like earlier in the summer, like when I was on, I don't like these moves they made, right? They're moves that I don't think made the team better. Like a Max Strus for as much they gave him for, the dude to just go 1 of 7 some nights.
Yeah, and I think Strus is more of a 6-man type dude. Me. He's more of a guard coming off the bench, not a starter.
Yeah, because he's looking for his. He's he's a poor man's Jordan Clarkson. That's what I think he is. Right. No defense. He's a chucker.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I just haven't done much. I should have in the bubble. But like I said, the Cavs, they remind me of the Detroit Pistons back in the 80s, where Detroit first started off. It was Isaiah, Bill Laimbeer was the constants. Then, you had Kelly Tripucka, and Detroit was getting put out in the first round. Then when you added Joe Dumars and company,
there's a piece that's missing.
Yeah, it's a piece that's missing.
Right now, to me, they remind me of like those Hawks teams with Horford and Millsap and Joe Johnson and Jeff Teague. Like that's who they feel like.
Right.
And at this like current pace, you're sitting 13-10. You don't really have the assets to go make a move because you're in the Mitchell trade unless you're trading one of your key guys, and I don't think they're going to do that. So I just seem like they got to figure out. Teams figure it out like post All-Star break, and it's still early. We're 26 games in. Or 23 games in. but it feels like something is so off with this team, and
Yes.
there's no excitement for me around the Cavs right now.
Right.
There's just it's like the Cavs match. Okay,
and it's like they're not really playing together because it seems like this team plays two different ways. They play one way when Donovan Mitchell doesn't play. Then Darius Garden all of a sudden is the point guard of the year. And they move the ball and everything and whatnot. Then when Donovan comes back, nothing against Donovan, but then the ball starts sticking. Part of the reason why the Cavs lost last night was during the time in the third quarter when they only scored 15 points, all of a sudden they just start jacking up threes like crazy. And you would think during that time, that's when Orlando made the run and took a 10, 12-point lead. JB didn't call a timeout.
He never does. It feels like they go into the half and the other team makes adjustments and we never do.
Yeah, he didn't call a timeout.
And it's just it's so frustrating. I feel like they need to make a move, like to go target one of these teams that are kind of bad and you can get a guy. But like I don't even have like a guy in my head that's a guy I would go get.
But come the trade deadline, there's going to be a bunch of them on the move with a bunch of.
It's weird with like how money works because I'll tell you a guy I would like that I think would help this team out, and I don't know if he's attainable with like the cap situation because like Chicago's bad, but if you could get like a DeMar DeRozan,
yeah,
I feel like he could help out, right? A guy that you can go, he's a guy who'll go defend, he's a good shooter, but
and he's a three.
I don't know how it works with like cap, I'm not halfway
cap, and Chicago gonna want to moon him back for him too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's teams, like they need something along those lines. Like if you can get a Pascal Siakam, he's not coming. You're not getting a guy like that. But if you can go get a guy that can go play on the wing, be a defender, hit some threes, bring you some shots, because that was part of it last year against the Knicks. You got dominated on the glass. You still get dominated on the glass when you play them, and that's why I think Allen and Mobley are soft.
Yeah, and if you get a Pascal Siakam, that means you can move Jared Allen. Because Pascal Siakam would be your 4 and Mobley would be your 5. I think that would be a better fit. Yeah, that'd be a way better fit.
And part of it, too, I feel like every other time, like Allen's been banged up, Mobley's been out, Garland's been out, Mitchell's been out. And I know part of it is you need to be healthy, and that's what's opened the door for, Craig Porter and those types. But, like, you got to get healthy. You got to kind of figure out where we're at. Sitting at 13-10, do not feel good. But I'm also not like pressing the panic because it's the NBA and all you gotta do is try and you're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah. And plus I think Porter needs to play more consistently. I mean, well, I need JB.
The other day he didn't play at all.
Right. JB needs to start putting in more consistency because he's a better ball handler than Mitchell.
Runs the offense,
Yes. Because whenever what gets on my nerves is when Garland is out, then Mitchell runs the offense. It ain't gonna be no passing.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, and like you said, Keith, the ball just sticks in his hands, and like that. I think it was the game last Friday when Donovan Mitchell ended up scoring like 35 points, and that's just normal. But that they don't win that game if he doesn't score 35. But other than that, you're not seeing.
Well, that's gonna wear you down too.
Like
it's
6
just
assists.
some of the stuff. The way Mitchell has to play at times for the Cavs, it's just at like 100 miles, and that you're gone in April and May. Like you just don't have the same. You're not going to get to June playing like that.
Jung Ho Lee to the Giants on a 6-year deal.
I wanted him so bad. That breaks my heart.
And
the Korean guy. The Korean guy takes the field.
6 years, 113 million.
They think long term he's going to move probably to the corners. I wanted him so bad.
318.
He was coming off he came off that injury too. He dislocated his ankle.
Though, like, and I want to end up hitting on this before we end up wrapping up the show. And I know we're jumping back to baseball just because this breaking news. But
kind of hard to talk about basketball right now anyway, for real.
It's just December, like it's still football season.
Yeah.
And with the way, who wants to talk about the Cavs and just be sad and just realize that we're probably not going to be talking about this come April. But for baseball, though, all these guys from Japan that end up coming over, they don't always pan out.
He's Korean. Get it right, sir.
Sorry. Sorry.
They don't. It is. It's like playing the lottery. I think he's a guy though. Like his WBC performance is really good. He's been really good to KBO. He's a guy I've been watching for a while because I play that stupid game on my computer. And he's a guy that I really like. He's a guy that I thought would have been a good fit for us because you see that the fan base, especially in Cleveland, clamor we need an outfielder. We need an outfielder. Where it's he's the best one on the market. I think in terms of a guy. You probably move Quan to center if you got it, but he could also play center. He can do other things. So when you're clamoring for we need this, we need this, we need this, and it's all right. Well, now your best bet's Hunter Renfroe, and I don't want Hunter Renfroe. He's 33.
Ramon Laureano again.
Yeah, well, we brought Ramon back, but you know what I mean. So there's these moves that teams have to make. I think you're going to see teams make more moves now that the Ohtani domino's fallen. But it's a pitcher-heavy market. It's not a hitter-heavy market this year, and you see that, right? I think another interesting guy that if I'm the Guards, I'd probably try to call about is maybe Cronenworth in San Diego. I think he could be a fit here. I think Jimenez needs to go to short long term.
I agree with you on that, though. And the rumor I heard today, too, was that, and obviously it hasn't happened, but Shane Bieber was supposedly going to be on the move and no longer in a Guardians uniform after today.
Yeah, I saw something about him to the Reds.
If it's another middle infielder, what's the point in the deal?
It's not even that. I'm not opposed to moving Shane Bieber. 2020 was a long time ago. It was a 2-month stretch when you look at it over 60 games.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been that guy. If you sign him long term, what's the number, right? Are you going to give him 5 years, $80 million? It's just, what's the number? And if you can you don't need the arms. You have arms. You got arms. So you don't need to press the panic button and, nothing wrong with moving. I know fan base is going to complain about moving Shane Bieber, but the way Vibey's pitched, the way Williams and Logan Allen, I wouldn't even be opposed to shopping Logan Allen, to tell you the truth. If you can get a big bat back.
Don't the other guy supposed to come up too this year? The one that was injured last year? That was in the
He's
minor?
throwing. They say Espino is super ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like you. Peyton knows me. I'm not prospect guy. I don't like to hoard my prospects. But I saw people on Twitter being trade Chase the Water and other guys and get Luis Robert. I'm not trading Chase the Water. I'm not trading Chase the Water. I'm not trading Manzardo. I've been seeing Naylor's name floated out there, and Naylor's value is never going to be higher than it is right now.
Josh,
he's a dude that plays Josh. Both am not trading. He plays the game super hard, so he gets beat up. I think he's an okay first baseman. Doesn't really have a lot of pop.
I just prefer him at DH.
But yeah, I think Manzardo's going to come be the first baseman.
That's the guy they got from Tampa Bay last year.
From Tampa Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's freaking hitting bombs and everywhere he does. There is a guy I think there's another guy that could be moved before it starts, and it's not Trout. I was ahead of the Trout thing when you guys had the Angels guy on. I made sure I had Ed to ask them about Trout. He said Trout wouldn't get moved. I think Trout could, but I think you could see a team pony up some stuff for Tatis. The Padres are struggling to pay.
You know what? I think the Padres is about to sell.
I think they're going to burn it down. I think moving Soto, and I know Tatis's deal is long, but man,
I'll take him.
He's probably the best outfield. He's probably the best right fielder in baseball, defensively.
Yes. I put him right there in right field.
And I just, what could you give up? And I'm sure the Padres will eat some of the money, but you also eat some of it. I could see certain teams being in on a Tatis. Maybe not us. I would love to be.
The Guardians need to be.
But the Cubs,
but they won't.
The Cubs, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, right?
Vince, you hurt my feelings, and you wonder
we
why
got the number one pick. I'm just saying the Guards got. When you look at teams that have ammunition to go get a Tatis, they got the guy who's already signed the extension.
Yeah.
If they. And no matter what it's going to take to move him, the Padres are going to have to eat some of that money. No one's taking on the whole contract. Yeah. A contract like that. The only one I can think of where a team's taking on all the money is the Yankees with Stanton.
And I don't even think the Yankees are going to take all the money on that either.
I don't think anyone's taking all the money on Tatis. But so you're going to have to eat some of it. So in terms of what can you give up? The Guardians got a lot of guys. They got a lot of middle infield prospects,
and they trade a lot with San Diego.
Yeah.
It's almost like
that.
that trade partner, them and the Reds. So who knows what could happen? But in reality, they probably won't get him. But I mean,
also you see Bauer's agent,
optimistic.
the Bauer's, they were trying to work Bauer teams.
Who, the Guardians?
Agents, not the Guardians. I don't know who. I saw on Twitter his agent's been in contact with MLB teams.
I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise if he ends up seeing him in an MLB uniform again. And if it's not this year, it's going to be next year. But before we end up heading out, though, guys, Keith, I'm not used to doing this. Usually Ed does it. But I'll give you a minute in about 5 seconds. Do you want to do your for real?
Okay. Yeah, I will do it.
Go.
My for real is the Browns are officially the super walking wounded. They just placed DeJuan Jones on IR, done for the season. They just placed Jedrick Wills on IR, done for the season. And the Wills thing is crazy and quirky because nobody thought that he was about to have knee surgery. Think about that. And the status of Del Pitt is unknown. So if this team somehow holds on and makes the playoffs, and I'm be honest, I haven't been the biggest Stefanski supporter, but he should get some votes for Coach of the Year, honestly.
You know, I would have ended up saying that too if you weren't going to. And this is coming from a Steelers fan and being able, after seeing that team go into shambles and seeing Kenny Pickett go down, the Browns, you see everybody around you. It's hard to not root for him. I'm not rooting for him, get me wrong, but I
got you.
I like seeing the fact that they're playing well, though. And Stefanski, he's had 4 or 5 quarterbacks. There's 6 wins. I think I saw the stat, 6 wins with teams above 500.
Yes.
Why would he not be Coach of the Year, especially with everything that he turned shit into shine? And that's exactly what he kept on going with. And I was going to end up going into that, teasing that for next week, but you hit the nail on the head.
And think about this. You go through our division, you imagine Baltimore without their tackles and Lamar.
Yeah.
They're not 10-3. Pittsburgh without their tackles and no Pickett. Hell, 2 games Pickett got hurt. They probably would have won if Pickett was in there.
Yep.
These 2 games that they lost would have been winnable games if Pickett was in there. And I ain't the biggest Pickett fan, but it's something about that dude in the fourth quarter where all of a sudden he figures it out.
Yeah. He might not show up the 3 quarters, but he gets his paycheck quarter only.
Yes. And think about it. Cincinnati without Burrow and the 2 tackles.
Yeah. It's the NFL, and I'm looking forward to this, and I completely can't wait to hit on this next week because after seeing this past week of NFL football, everything, and I've been saying it all week, the NFL is a crapshoot. No matter what, Kansas City, the Browns even have the possibility of being a 1 seed if everything goes right for them, and that's exactly
what they do. Yeah, they do.
And you know,
we're gonna playoffs are coming through Cleveland.
And you know the scary thing about this, the 2 biggest underdog teams that nobody in the AFC probably would want to face would be the Browns and Buffalo.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, and honestly, if you had to pick one of the 2, I'd say the Browns over the Bills.
Yeah.
Well, the Bills I think the Browns just have nothing to lose. They've been playing wounded with their backs against the wall all season.
And if the Browns can stop turning the ball over, you know, telling how far. If they get put out in the first round, I wouldn't be shocked. And if they go all the way to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be shocked.
You might as well give Joe Flacco a statue then at that point.
I swear to God, if we win the Super Bowl, Joe Flacco's going to statue. Like, it has been like so
DJ's going to build it.
It's not even that. It's been so funny, like, to look at this stuff on, like, Twitter and social media. I know, like, it's not a real place. But, like, it's done like a 180. Like, Joe Flacco, like, if you just look, like, you would think he's been here forever. Like, it's just the funniest shit.
Exactly.
It's just because he kicked our ass for so many years.
Exactly.
And you know what? My buddy Brandon from work, again, shout out to him. He said, how funny would it be? And we'll leave you on this note. How funny would it be that the Ravens took your team, but you guys take their quarterback and win a Super Bowl?
Ooh, man.
I mean, this is.
And think about
I'm
this.
I'm just enjoying the ride. Like,
he is too.
This is the second time I got
one
to do
game
this
at
in
a
my
time.
adult life, and it is just each game is a heart attack waiting to happen. Like, you know, it's been so funny how it's been like, you know, we always miss the kicks, and like it shows you how much a kicker matters too. I'm not trying to jinx stuff, not. But like just like decent quarterback play to get it. Like Joe Flacco's not doing anything great, and PJ Walker did, and then DTR, and like it's just one of those things. Like I've been a big guy, Stefanski. I've thought like all the time, I'd be like, guys are open. Like he's scheming guys open, they just can't really hit it. Or like Woods' defense stinks. It's just this has been like a fun year, and I'm not thinking Super Bowl. I mean, I am. But it's just been a ride that's been fucking fantastic.
I'm just enjoying the sleigh ride. I'm Santa Claus right now.
I'm here for the vibes.
Well, on that note, guys, make sure to check out next week We Like Sportz show Monday or Tuesday. Ed_in_Columbus will keep you updated on Twitter on what's going on with the show. I'm Peyton Vince. You can follow me on Twitter at Peyton Vince. For CJ at Not Wilson on Twitter, and for Keith at K_Allen596, if I got that right.
569.
Oh man, my dyslexia. I was right there. But we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for checking out the We Like Sportz show. And don't forget about our betting challenge come next week when we're signing up for all the betting websites, and we're going to reveal to you which one we like the most. So
already
stay
signed
tuned
up for them all. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Browns
Go
Nation
Browns.
or something like that, right?
Broncos country.